Hello, and welcome to the Top 10 Star Trek The Next Generation episodes. At number 10, we have The Offspring. First aired March 12th, 1990, and directed by Jonathan Frakes. Data successfully creates a new android, which he views as his child. However, the magnitude of his accomplishment quickly attracts the scrutiny of Starfleet, who wants to separate the child from Data and the Enterprise for study. Matters are complicated further when the child begins to develop beyond Data's abilities. This was a good episode. It had a lot of humor in it, and then quickly turned sad. And I believe it was the first episode directed by Jonathan Frakes. At number 9, we have The Pegasus. First aired January 10th, 1994, and directed by LeVar Burton. When Riker's first commanding officer comes on board to aid in the search for the vessel that they surfed on, he's forced to rethink the actions that he took at the time. This was a good episode. It showed that Starfleet doesn't always play by the rules. We got a new phased cloak technology, where the ship not only cloaks, but it can also go through solid objects. And it starts out with the Captain Picard Day, which was pretty funny. Another good one where they had some humor to go on with the drama, which was always one of my favorites. At number 8, we have Timescape. First aired June 14th, 1993, and directed by Adam Nimoy, Leonard Nimoy's son. Aboard a runabout, Picard, Data, LaForge, and Troy encounter a time distortion. They also discover the Enterprise frozen in time, seconds away from destruction. This was a really cool episode because when they first roll up on the Enterprise, it looks like it's under attack by the Romulans. And then they have to discover what happened and go on board both ships, and they find out that's not what they originally thought. This episode also had a lot of really cool special effects. Picard drawing a happy face on a warp core breach. The power transfer beams frozen in time, but they're still kind of moving. It's pretty cool. At number 7, we have Relics. Relics first aired October 12th, 1992, directed by Alexander Singer. The Enterprise discovers a ship that crashed on the Dyson Sphere more than 75 years prior, with a single survivor suspended in the transporter buffer, Captain Montgomery Scott. Also, this is where Scotty mentions Franklin, who became a character in the newer Star Trek movies. This was a really cool episode. Not only did we get to see Scotty, but it was a good episode. They didn't just play on the star power. They actually built a really cool, the Dyson Sphere, which is an actual theory. Constructing something around a star, and then you can use 100% of the star's energy. I think Michio Kaku said that the Dyson Sphere technology would be a Type 2 civilization, or Type 3 maybe. This one was packed full of action, a little bit of mystery, and a whole lot of humor. A must watch. At number 6, we got Parallels. Parallels first aired November 29th, 1993, directed by Robert Weimer. This is the episode where Worf keeps jumping to multiple universes. They're activated by when he gets within range of Geordi's visors, triggering something that pushes Worf into another parallel universe. It was really cool to see how the universe could be. In several of them, he was a first officer. Picard didn't make it after the Borg, and how life would have been like. We get a little sliver here and there on the different Enterprises. My favorite part about Parallels is, of all the characters who could have gone through this. Worf was about the least one up on his technical abilities. The theory of multiple universe and that kind of thing. Of all the characters, Worf, if it was Data or Geordi, or Riker or Picard, they probably would have figured it out a lot faster. But it went to Worf, who didn't know what was going on. Great episode, I love it. At number 5, we have the Nth Degree. First aired April 1st, 1991. Directed by Rob Legato. After an encounter with a mysterious alien probe, Lieutenant Barclay begins to exhibit signs of profound intelligence, ultimately hooking himself up to the ship's computer and hurling the Enterprise into apparent danger. I believe this episode was based on the book Flowers for Algernon. It has a lot of similarities in it. Barclay, being one of my favorite characters, does a complete change after being hit by a probe. And he gets a lot of confidence and intelligence and ends up merging with the Enterprise computer and, in a sense, becoming one with the Enterprise, and folds time and space and takes the Enterprise to meet the Chrysalians, who don't travel, they just bring people to them. But this is a really good episode, and like most with Barclay. At number 4, Redemptions Part 1 and 2. First aired June 17th, 1991, and directed by Cliff Bowl. This was a great two-parter. It showed the entire Klingon Civil War. Basically, it was two sides, the House of Galron versus the House of Duras. Duras being represented by his sisters and illegitimate son. So we get a lot of Klingon on Klingon action. We also get an appearance by not only Galron and Kern, Worf's brother, we also get Sela, Tasha Yar's daughter, from yesterday's Enterprise. In these two-parters, you find out that the Romulans were aiding Duras' side. Federation have to build a tachyon net with a bunch of different starships. Data gets his first time at command. It's a very good two-parter. At number 3, Yesterday's Enterprise. Yesterday's Enterprise was first aired February 19th, 1990, and was directed by David Carlson. A temporal rift opens and the USS Enterprise C emerges, changing the timeline into a reality where the Federation is in a bitter war with the Klingon Empire. The only person on board the USS Enterprise who realizes that something is not right is Guinan, and she must help to return the displaced starship to its proper time in order for the Enterprise D crew to save themselves. This was another alternate universe or parallel universe episode. It was pretty cool to see once again, what the future, a different kind of future would be. Also, first time we saw the Ambassador class starship, the Enterprise C, and we got to meet her captain and crew. This is also how Sela gets born, with Tasha Yar going back in time, 22 years in the past. At number 2, we've got Tapestry. Tapestry first aired February 15th, 1993. Directed by Les Landul. Picard dies and meets Q in the afterlife, who offers him the chance to change a crucial moment in his history to prevent the mistakes of his youth. Who wouldn't give anything to get this opportunity to change something that you did wrong or was done wrong to you? I absolutely love that he went back, changed the thing, and then his entire future was messed up. Ends up being a lieutenant, junior grade, science officer. Hey, at least he made it to the Enterprise. You know, you pull one thread out and it starts to unravel the whole tapestry. This also might have been the first time we saw the Nausicaans. It was fun to see Picard's Academy days. Or right out of the Academy. Anyways, Q teaches Picard a valuable lesson, and us all to some extent. Some of those bad things that happened to you in the past has shaped you to who you are today. Star Trek The Next Generation is such a good show, it was really, really hard to narrow it down to just the 10. So please, in the comments, tell me what are your favorite 10s, or which ones you thought was better than whatever. Because there's a lot that I would have put in here, but it's only 10. Anyways, without further ado, the number one top episode of Star Trek The Next Generation is Code of Honor. First aired October 12th, 1987. A mission of mercy is jeopardized when a planetary ruler decides he wants the Enterprise officer as his wife. In this episode, Tasha Yar has to battle to the death with it. Nah, I'm just kidding. That episode was horrible. The number one best episode from Star Trek The Next Generation is The Best of Both Worlds, Parts 1 and 2. I know this makes it to the top of many, many lists. However, it is my favorite episode, so here it is. This is the second time we get to see the Borg. This episode first aired June 18th, 1990. Directed by Cliff Boyle. This was a season finale for season 3. And what a cliffhanger. We had a lot of Borg action, and then we had Picard getting assimilated as Locutus of Borg. Boy, and a cliffhanger of all cliffhanger, right at the end, when Riker says, "Mr. Worf, fire." And boom! That was the end of the first episode. I know now with the streaming and everything, it's not a big deal, but back in the day, you had to wait 3 months to see what happened. But we learned a lot about the Borg. And then it had a pretty good follow-up episode after this one where Picard goes to Earth and hangs out with his brother. Thank you for watching the top 10 Star Trek The Next Generation episodes according to me. And you all have a great day. Bye-bye.